Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
We have a podcast in the description as well. Subscribe to that.
We are sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Yep, based in Austin, Texas, American-made, #1 vodka in America, Tito's.
How many of these rookies are going to be starting week one? Round one rookie quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, there's 2. Mac Jones could be starting. Feels like the least likely guy to start is actually Fields, not Lance at this point in time.
Well, Fields is not starting. I mean, they've basically really confirmed that, which I don't agree with, but he's been dead set on it. Like Andy Dalton, the reason Fields is starting this week is because Andy Dalton, he's like a pitcher.
Do they
when
think,
they
like,
send
you
the pitcher home?
When you send the pitcher home, what do you mean? Like before his
You know,
start?
before
Matt
it starts the
Cain
next
is
day,
back
we
in
send
San
him-
Francisco getting ready for game 4.
That's what it feels like with Andy Dalton.
I wonder if they think like we're gonna have a hard time with free agents if everyone knows we promised Andy he's the starter, then we don't even give him one game to be the starter.
Why would you even be worried about that?
I don't know.
He's fucking Andy Dalton.
I'm just trying to figure out why they're thinking the way they're thinking.
I know, because they think he knows the offense so well. He can articulate it in the huddle. He can get them in the right looks.
Unimportant things.
Yeah, but it's stuff no fan cares about.
Oh.
It's just that simple. So it's just the stuff that their coaching staff cares about is something that's not actually tangible that you'll see when he's struggling, which hurts.
But here's part of their issue is that they as a staff think we have to win to keep all of our jobs. And the Bears fans thought that until they got Fields, and now all they care about is watching Justin Fields play, whatever that means.
But if I told you this, you start Justin Fields and your job's on the line, but then Fields plays well and gives you hope, even if you go 8-9, but it was like, oh, we got something here.
Yeah.
Doesn't that save you? Like, you guys found this guy. Did that work for Anthony Lynn? You guys believed in this guy? Yeah, but he's had more success than Anthony Lynn. He's over 500. They haven't been a joke.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
I don't know. I mean, he'd know better than me.
But it might be as simple as like Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are like, we're in this together, brother. Yeah, brother. And then the McCaskies are like, Ryan, what do you think we should do? And he's like, well, as the person who clearly is remaining, I'm still the GM. Oh, okay, I think we should hire another coach. And then you extend yourself. If you're Ryan Pace, right, if I was just thinking selfishly from a GM standpoint, if you hire a new coach, you potentially extend your window, like at minimum another 2 or 3 years.
Well, did you see Brady's quote to Peter King about how the NFL is basically one big blame game? GMs always blaming coaches are blaming players are blaming coaches. Like, everyone's just pointing the finger. And he's like, I've been kind of lucky. That's not really, obviously in New England, that doesn't exist. And he's like, in Tampa, now granted, he's been there 1 year and they won the Super Bowl. But I just think he sees all of his friends all over the league, and that's all it becomes. Is just everyone's pointing at each other. And maybe sports in general are like that. I think football is probably more under a microscope, given like you only play once a week, and when you have a bad season, it just feels guys get fired. 6, 7 coaches get fired a year. College coaches get fired all the time. The blaming just happens so fast.
Yeah.
And the faster you can both be in cahoots with like, hey, look at what we have together, it might save you so you don't have to flip like, oh, he wanted Dalton, I didn't want Dalton. Because that is something that just happens at rates in the NFL. Like the Cardinals are a team that who's going to blame who there? Like how Steve Keim he'll go, well, he wanted Kyler Murray. If that doesn't work, and you hired Cliff. Like, what were we supposed to do? Like, they don't really have anyone to blame anymore.
Right. And we're here because we drafted Josh Rosen. It didn't work.
Yeah. So it's like maybe we just need to. I had a buddy who thought we were making fun of like the Chiefs in the Cardinal game. He's like, yeah, I bet that place is open by November.
The Cardinals.
Like they could do. You remember last year when Arthur Blank fired Quinn and Dimitroff? Where you just kind of, if they're, let's say they are, like a 5-8 team, and it's like, they're not going to make the playoffs. Kyler hasn't gotten better. Maybe you just fire them both and you just hit the reset button.
You know what's interesting about that is, John, let's tell the people about DraftKings. Download the app, use the promo code HAM, and try the instant win challenge from DraftKings Wild Cards. You're shot at up to $50 million in prizes.
What about our friends at Manscaped.com, the best ball trimmer on the market? Promo code HAM gets you 20% off and free shipping.
Will the coaches that are in demand view Kyler Murray as an asset for that job or not?
Well, you don't have to pick up his 5th-year option. You get to just ride it out for a year. He is talented enough to just ride it out for a year, see what you got, and then kind of go from there. I do think
that's not an asset.
Well, if
What's
they were
attractive
losing
about
this year,
it is that you're not committed to him.
I think the attractive part about that job is I remember last year when Atlanta got open, and I remember texting an agent. I was like, God, who the fuck would want to go there? He's like, every coach. That's Atlanta's it's a cheap area. It's a great place to raise a family. The owner has a bunch of money, and he's loyal. So I think you'd look at Arizona, you go, well, I can live in Scottsdale or Phoenix. The owner has been very, very loyal to Steve Keim, right? He seems like actually a pretty nice, normal guy with a bunch of cash now. And he a little, I think, in like the Jed Mark category, like if he hires you, like you get to do you,
Yeah,
and
you might be the guy bringing your GM.
That is not a place, I think, consistently in every team. Like some teams, like, the owner, probably a little more, like the Carolina Panthers. I bet that guy's sitting in a lot of personnel meetings, don't you?
The Mets. The division's very tough, but I don't know how much it doesn't feel like coaches usually are too worried about that.
No. Because why would anyone ever take a job in the SEC, right? And they all do.
They pay you way more money, though, relative to what other people make.
Okay, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad point. So in terms of rookies, could Mac Jones start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1? Yes, he could. Here's the page. If Mac Jones ends up the starter, here's the Patriots' schedule: Dolphins at home, at the Jets, New Orleans at home, the Bucks at home, at the Texans, Cowboys at home, Jets at home.
He's going to win some games.
You think he's the week 1 starter for the Patriots?
I do. Yeah. You said 16-1 Belichick?
16-1.
I think that's a pretty good bet.
I do too.
Because I think that's
especially if he's doing it with Mac Jones.
If they went 10-7 with Mac Jones, wouldn't he get a lot of credit?
He would be the coach of the year in the NFL. He would have the quarterback that went last of the 5 in the draft.
Well, what if like a McVay or Shanahan won like 14 games?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a guarantee, but I just think you're kind of looking for a reason for everyone knows Bill's the best. But
one sleep
twice.
I'll give you a sleeper. Coach of the year would be
Sirianni.
Would be the dude in Carolina. What if they went 10-7?
Yeah, Rule.
They've been really shitty. He resurrects Sam Darnold. Like they just look really solid. They got a bunch of offensive pieces. You probably get him like 20-1. Sirianni, he probably has incredible odds. Their division just might be terrible. And what if the Eagles just have some talent? Again, they are much higher on Jalen Hurts than I think a lot of people are. Like they see him in practice. I think he's pretty good.
We should do a bit where we go through every team and say what would be Coach of the Year candidacy for that coach.
Let's do it. Next pod.
Freak Stomper 49 on YouTube says, I'm late. Tried to time it for when the Tito ad was over. Right on time. An hour in. That's very funny. That's good. Who else do we have? Yeah, Zach Wilson starting, obviously. Mac. Okay, that was everybody. Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence.
Cousins at any moment could get corona, or contact traced, and Kellen Mond could start quick.
You don't think they just trade for Gardner Minshew?
I mean, I feel like Gardner Minshew is beloved in like the Twitter community, and most of the NFL think he's the average at best.
Until you look at his numbers, like that came in real NFL games. Have you looked?
He's made some plays
from real NFL games.
I remember sitting on the couch. They were playing the Broncos, and he did this like 360 in the pocket. He ran away. He dove. He jumped. It was like that was an incredible play.
Man,
but
I am with you.
The NFL does not view him that way.
I know. I am with you. But when they showed his numbers on the screen last night, I was like, say what you want about the guy, even if you think numbers lie, which sometimes they can. But most guys who roll out and play quarterback in the NFL, the majority of them, right? Like the guys that are not in the top 20, don't ever have numbers that are 37 touchdowns, 11 picks, and 63%.
How many games total?
20 games. 23 games, 20 starts, 7-13. Not good, but, bad organization could be bad.
Yeah. There might be some value.
How many guys have ever had 37 touchdowns and at that same time had only 11 interceptions?
Could Kyle Shanahan win as many games with Gardner Minshew as he could with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Maybe.
Could the Niners cut Jimmy Garoppolo and just trade for Gardner Minshew
What
as
are
a
you gonna
backup?
trade for him? Because he is kind of a valuable backup. Like if I'm the Jags, I'm not in a rush to trade him for nothing.
Yeah. I bet Urban kind of likes him, right? Clearly.
Yeah, didn't he had a quote about him the other day? Something like he's a, what do you call him? Not like
Tough
a blue
little
collar.
$2 steak or something?
Yeah, like a bulldog. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, he's like, he's like one of those, fine pieces of jeans. You just can't rip them.
Yeah, exactly. It was something similar to that.